Madang police clamped down on firearms. Paul Paraka campaigns for NCD Regional. And Kilroy Genia eyeing a return to politics.
This is National MTV News with Mary Bartolo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us for Sunday's news. The Madang Provincial Police Commander is issuing a strong warning to persons who are in possession of firearms not to use them during the election period. These include the licensed and unlicensed firearms. Superintendent Jacob Singura says they are aware of illegal firearms being smuggled into the province from across the PNG-Indonesia border. Police are also aware that firearms are also in the hands of candidates and their supporters. Martha Lewis with this report.
Provincial Police Commander Superintendent Jacob Singura appeals to the general public in the province to inform police of persons in possession of firearms. Singura says this includes the licensed and unlicensed firearms. Those caught in possession of the firearms will be arrested and charged.
Once again, appeal we want this information to come to us. Who said citizen, stakeholder, aware long sample this weapons start hand who said candidates or supporters anywhere within the province. It's good that they come out to us and give us that information. So that
Singura warns those in possession of the firearms not to use those weapons during the election, especially during the polling and counting period.
Because nobody has the right to be in possession of any firearms, which is licensed or unlicensed, although not using this time period election, particularly to threaten or to intimidate others.
Meanwhile, the Mobile Squad 15 unit in Ley will be in Madang next month as a backup to assist Madang Police boost security during the polling period, while a contingent from the PNG Defence Force and 10 officers from the Beyond Correctional Facility will assist Madang Police. But as soon as Morobe and Eastern Highlands provinces polling are over, an additional 200 men from within the Northern Command will be in Madang.
Manpower any problem, but because we were going to get some extra personnel from outside of the force, engage them as special constables, but due to funding constraints, and we were told in our briefing in Ley that we will not be getting extra.
Martha Lewis, National MTV News, Madang.
A Mosby Northeast candidate has promised voters to give them land to settle on. Joe Saraga is a Motu Koitabu landowner running for elections in the Mosby Northeast electorate. Yesterday, he held a rally at 6 Mile with different factions from as far as 9 Mile and Koyari LLG in attendance.
Elections in Papua New Guinea are always about money, store goods, pigs and promises. Yesterday, 2 groups from Chuave in the Simbu province brought pigs for Joe Saraga. In PNG, the gesture is a sign of alliances being built and it puts the receiver in debt.
Especially mga belum ilusif yang bayi sa pig migro thank you to the Islam. Wantai tu belakang so di belakang.
Joe Saraga is contesting the Mosby Northeast seat against sitting MP Labi Amayu and 41 others. But Saraga has a drawing card aimed at settlers. The Motu Koitabu landowner has immense support from the Hala community and part of the Chimbu community. In Port Moresby electorates, there are huge factions of people split giving support to different candidates. Yesterday, Joe Saraga was shown support, but the real test of loyalty will come in the polling booth when fingers meet paper to vote. Bethany Harriman, National MTV News.
Lawyer Paul Paraka says he will lift the boy ban, bring utilities to settlements and give titles to block holders if voted into power. The lawyer was implicated in a financial inquiry in the early 2000s and remained a controversial figure throughout the years that followed. Today, he is putting all that behind him to contest the NCD regional seat. Bethany Harriman reports.
These are pictures of Paul Paraka holding a rally at the Unagi Oval last week in Port Moresby. Paul Paraka has been in the spotlight before, but it wasn't for the right reasons. Today, he's putting the finance inquiries in early 2000 behind him to run for the NCD regional seat. The lawyer's campaign is centered around the simple people or settlers in Port Moresby's major settlements. His grassroots United Front Party has held rallies around Port Moresby, selling the message that it's for the people in the settlements. The party says improving work conditions for those working, lifting the boy ban, giving titles to settlement block holders and providing utilities in settlements are its priorities. Paul Paraka is running for the NCD regional seat, challenging City Governor Paus Pakop, corruption activist and Pangu Party candidate Noel Anjo, and there are 34 other candidates contesting. Bethany Harriman, National EMTV News.
Former Abau MP Kilroy Genia wants the Abau Open seat back. He has told the people it is time for a change for the better. At his campaign rally in Upulima Station, he openly criticized sitting MP Sepuka Temu. Genia says Sepuka neglected the district and failed to raise the standard of living.
Kilroy Genia, the former member for Abau, who was in Parliament between 1993 and 1996, following the death of his brother, late Jack Genia. Kilroy Genia, a public servant, then won the by-election after the death of his brother, Jack Genia, who was Abau MP and opposition leader, and is now out to get his seat back.
We've also seen varying levels of development in various districts as well as the provinces. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for Abau.
He pointed out why the people of Abau needed change and his reasons for contesting.
We planned and programmed a number of projects. Apart from social infrastructure, health, education, it's compulsory on the part of government to provide those basic frontline services. It's how members deliver those services. But apart from that, it's incumbent on leaders to also make sure they create economic opportunities for our people. In the last 15 years, we have seen a lack of all of those development and investment opportunities in Abau district.
The Upulima station is surrounded by rubber plantations and is one of the means of income for the people. But Genia says there are so many other ways Abau and Upulima station can develop.
The reason why in a proposal I push in another because Abau district has potential, huge potential in marine resources. Abau district has huge potential in agriculture resources. Abau district now has potential in mining and petroleum.
Meanwhile, Sepuka Temu at his recent campaign launch says there was only much a member could do.
Because we had a lot of work to do. We've been fixing roads, we've been building classrooms, health centers, aid posts. We'll be helping our most important partner, the churches.
But Genia says Sepuka Temu, as a doctor by profession, could at least better develop the health system in Abau.
He is a trained doctor, schooled in a medical school. The least he could have done was improve the health sector.
Meanwhile, residents of Upulima Station had this to say to Kilroy Genia.
For the last 15 years, those of you who have been supporting this current government, you are risking our life. Hotels na overall isla Santinol staplo, most me all stop. Why not? Mipla youths by workload all in this ground na. Mipla grow more crops from mipla when pluck and supply more this lab.
Kilroy Genia and Seapuka Temu are amongst the 24 candidates vying for the Aba open seat. Adelaide Sirox Curry, National MTV News.
You're watching National MTV News. We'll be back with more after these messages. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. Agri-based company New Britain Palm Oil is navigating through critical economic times and harsh drops in commodity prices. General Manager of NBPOL, Harry Brock, spoke to MTV about how the company is managing through challenging times.
Despite the country's economic setbacks in recent times, oil palm giant New Britain Palm Oil has managed to keep their head above water. The company this year celebrates their 50th year in the country, operating in a volume-based business. General Manager Harry Brock credits consistency when telling NBPOL's success story.
We're an agricultural commodity, so we ride the good times and stick out the tougher times. And I think, I think with our business model and the fact that we're engaged throughout the community has enabled us to stick together. Of course, the last 3 or 4 years have not been terribly easy. Prior to that, we had some good times, but it's just the fact that we've been very consistent in what we do and how we approach things throughout the whole length of this 50-year period, and we stick to what we know. We stick to our core business.
The company has recently invested in biogas facilities to reduce their cost of operation, which is significantly cheaper than burning diesel. NBPOL then resells some of the biogas to PNG Power, which provides the SOE with a cheaper supply of electricity. Leanjarari, National MTV News.
A key trend surfacing in past years is the commercializing of Papua New Guinean culture. From the tapa cloth to woven mats and to the most symbolic, the bilum, showcasing aspects of our traditional culture in galleries around the world, has introduced the once untapped markets of Asia and Europe to our unique PNG designs. Leanjarari has more.
Papua New Guinea is a land of diverse culture. From the highlands to the coast and further out to the islands, every region, every province, every tribe is unique, and the customs and cultures that accompany them differ significantly. Over the decades, the entrepreneurial spirit has driven Papua New Guineans to commercialize from these cultures. However, the challenge lies in moving from the craft markets to the international markets. And this is where organizations such as the Pacific Horticultural and Agricultural Market Access Program intercede. FARMA works with the public and private sectors to promote Pacific exports of primary and value-added produce.
We look at supporting ready-made or export-ready businesses, export Papua New Guinea-made products predominantly into Australia and New Zealand. We got a portfolio of about 5-6 project. We work in cocoa, coffee, spices, coconuts, handicrafts, fisheries, and forestry.
One business working under the farmer umbrella is Maku Gifts. MTV spoke to owner Annette Sete about her largely popular Lava Girl jewelry and marketing her products overseas.
We sell predominantly to Australian customers, a wide range in Papua New Guinea, and we've got the Pacific as well, so a lot of Fijians, quite a few from Solomons and Vanuatu. But we've also sent orders out to, I think the furthest we went to is Germany. There's 1 to Germany and I think 3 to US to date, and a couple to Thailand as well. The good thing is that Facebook allows us to sell to markets that we won't necessarily sell to if we were to use traditional media to market our products. Facebook really helped us to get to areas where we could not necessarily have gone to. That's a good thing. The bad thing is that the freight cost is killing us, because we need to send there, and also if they were to buy in foreign currencies, Papua New Guinea doesn't have a pay platform to allow us SMEs or Papua New Guinea businesses online to sell, to accept foreign currencies online.
Ella Motors held its trade contest last week in 3 categories at the Ella Academy. The company is a distributor of automotive and marine products. Its comprehensive service has been tested through the trade test involving its apprentices.
The trade testing was held at the Ella Academy. Categories tested were customer service, mechanics and the intricacies of selling Toyota products. In these pictures, tradespeople were put through a simulation of customer service interactions during sales. Automotive mechanics were also tested on pre-sales diagnosis. The trade test was a competition held on Wednesday during the day. At night, awards were given to winners of the competition. Two women were involved in the trade testing this year, and they were amongst the winners. The trades test and the Ella Academy are recognized by the National Apprentice and Trade Testing Board. Bethany Harriman, National MTV News.
The National Airport Corporation website has a refreshing new look. NAC Chairman Ruben Ayla and Acting Managing Director Richard Yopo launched the website in Port Moresby this week. It features content that showcases the organization's vision, positive developments and future ambitions. Ayla said NAC prides itself as the guardian of the gateways to the Pacific and beyond. It strives to showcase the nation's natural wonders to neutralize the otherwise daunting images portrayed by negative articles online. For that matter, he said the website contains a module dedicated to promoting tourism packages within the country in partnership with the Tourism Promotion Authority. According to Yopo, NAC's boldest ambition yet is to establish 15 smart new airports by 2030. NAC views the website's recent facelift as a significant milestone. Meanwhile, NAC's Acting Managing Director Richard Yopo says the organization is in a comfortable position in terms of APEC preparedness. He said NAC has exhausted 8 million kina on boosting airport security in the past 3 years alongside its project partners, and that the outcome is satisfactory. NAC has also engaged 16 reserve police on the ground to up manpower. They look to double that figure and establish a new police station on site as well.
Security upgrade is not APEC oriented. Security upgrade is what the airport is all about. And the airport is about security and safety. So it is part of our core business to actually ensure that we are 100% security and are secured and 100% safe. So those are kind of things that we are currently working on. On the airport preparation and the logistics itself, the current runway can, hold Boeing 707 Cody type aeroplanes. So it is, it is ready, and the parking of spaces for parking for the bigger jets that are coming and the corporate jets that are coming.
You're with National MTV News. When we come back, stories making headlines overseas. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. Turning overseas now, new video has come to light of the horrific moment a car mowed down pedestrians in New York's Times Square. Prosecutors say it was a deliberate act.
Disturbing video tonight of the mayhem in Times Square. Everyone you're about to see survived this horrific attack. The suspect in this car turns directly into helpless pedestrians, then continues, barreling down one of the busiest sidewalks in the world, block after block, appearing to aim directly at the crowds.
He waited for those cars to pass, and he accelerated, striking down these pedestrians. That goes to his state of mind and his motivation.
Police claim that driver, 26-year-old Richard Rojas, said he wanted to kill them all and that police should have shot him. Rojas is seen here trying to flee. That's when Kenya Braddocks, right behind Rojas there in the hat, helped stop him, holding Rojas' head while an officer handcuffed him.
You went over there and you tackled him. You stopped him.
I stopped him.
From doing any more damage.
That's correct.
Did he say anything to you?
He was just screaming, but there were no words.
Rojas handcuffed and in court today, charged with 20 counts of attempted murder and 1 count of murder. 18-year-old Alyssa Ellsman, who was visiting from Michigan, lost her life. He was apprehended at the scene after speeding down 3 streets, creating 60 seconds of terror, hitting nearly 24 people, and the car doesn't stop until it slams into these steel security barriers.
Saudi Arabia has rolled out the red carpet for Donald Trump on his first overseas trip as American president. The two countries signed lucrative trade deals. One of them is for the sale of American military equipment worth $160 billion.
Mercury touching 100 degrees Fahrenheit, Donald Trump probably found the blast of desert air refreshing compared to the political hothouse that he's left behind in Washington. He's hoping that this first foreign trip will provide some respite from the mounting problems at home. And what a welcome his hosts laid on for him. The 81-year-old king came to greet him, red carpet for as far as the eye could see. He was even given Saudi Arabia's highest civilian honour. A marked contrast to the almost hostile reception afforded Barack Obama when he was last here.
Wherever you go in Riyadh, this is what you're going to see. Pictures of President Trump and King Salman with the slogan, "Together we prevail." A year ago, Donald Trump said in an interview, "I think Islam hates us." From the reception he's receiving and the warmth of it, you wouldn't guess it.
The new president's tough stance on Iran has endeared him to the Saudis and other Sunni nations in the region. And as part of that, a massive £75 billion arms deal was signed to supply the kingdom with weapons and know-how to meet the Iranian threat. And this allowed the president to talk about what he likes most, jobs.
Hundreds of billions of dollars of investments into the United States and jobs, jobs, jobs.
At a news conference, the deal was welcomed by the Secretary of State.
This huge arms sales package reduces the burden on the United States to provide this same equipment to our own military forces and will strengthen Saudi security forces for the future so that Saudi Arabia is more capable of carrying a greater share of the burden.
Less welcome news came overnight from James Comey. The sacked FBI director has accepted an invitation to give evidence to Congress in a public session. According to the New York Times, the president described him to the Russian foreign minister as a nut job whose sacking had relieved a lot of the pressure on the president, claims the White House has not denied. Donald Trump complained earlier this week that no politician had been treated worse or more unfairly than him. That is not something that could be said today.
Dozens of schoolgirls who were kidnapped from the Nigerian town of Chibok 3 years ago have been reunited with their families. They were released earlier this month after a deal was struck with the Nigerian government and the militant group Boko Haram.
The moment they'd been waiting more than 3 years for, to see each other again. An emotional reunion for the newly returned Chibok girls and their parents. 82 of the missing girls were released 2 weeks ago. It was a celebratory first meeting, but this is the start of a long process.
I'm just laughing, clapping my hand, all the family, because of happiness and joy.
Assimilating them back into society after so long being held hostage in the forest by Boko Haram militants. Both the girls and their parents have gone through a lot of change since the kidnapping, and they won't be heading back home to Chibok anytime soon. They're under the care of the Women's Affairs Ministry and the security services, keen to talk to them about their experiences. It's taken a while to make 100% sure of the girls' identities. This was the moment parents were asked to confirm from a photo that their girls were among those released.
Now every parent have identified his and her daughter.
The 82 Chibok girls were only released after months of complicated negotiations. 5 Boko Haram commanders were exchanged for them. And the BBC's been told that €2 million may also have been part of the deal, but that can't yet be confirmed. The government says it's doing all it can, and talks are going on to try and release the 113 still being held. Their medical checks are continuing, and the girls will be given psychological therapy before starting their education again, amid tight security. We weren't allowed to ask them any questions. The intense media focus on the Chibok girls has at least helped many to be freed, and they are just some of the thousands of other women and girls also abducted by Boko Haram.
A rugby match in Wellington to honour a player who died this week was called off early after 2 injured players were taken to hospital. It was a memorial for Daniel Baldwin, who died following last weekend's match for the Wellington club.
It was meant to be a memorial match for a young rugby player who died during the week. But early in the second half, 2 other players were lying on the ground after being injured in a tackle. The Wellington Football Club's Colts game against Avalon began with a minute's silence for their teammate, Daniel Baldwin. All players from the club wore black armbands today in memory of the 19-year-old who fell into a coma following last weekend's match and passed away in hospital.
Club members are doing it really hard. Today is really about honouring Daniel and remembering him. They obviously had the option not to play if they didn't, but they were very keen to play and to come along.
After today's devastating collision, both players were taken to hospital in a stable condition and the game called off as the 2 teams joined together. In Super Rugby matches last night, there were 4 head knocks. In this game between the Stormers and the Blues, first 5 Piers Francis was hit in the head by a swinging arm.
A swinging arm there that made contact.
It's a familiar sight in New Zealand rugby, something former All Black and Dr. Laurie Knight says hasn't been taken seriously enough.
People got hurt, they got knocked out. It's just the way it was, and didn't really worry about it too much. It was benign ignorance. And I think some of the people I played with, I look on scene now, I can see that they're actually paying the price for those sorts of decisions we made in those days.
Meanwhile, the Wellington Football Club says it's supporting players.
It's been a terrible time for everyone, obviously. What's been amazing, though, has been the support we've seen from the rugby community, from our club members, rival clubs around Wellington, other clubs around New Zealand Rugby Union, Wellington Rugby Union.
Wellington Rugby Football Union has launched an inquiry into Daniel's death, while the university student's funeral will be held at the Wellington Rugby Club on Tuesday.
To a lighter note now, 4-year-old Leah Carroll from California has captured the hearts of millions online with her rendition of the song Overcomer by Grammy Award winner Madang. This week, she recorded a new video with a very special guest.
This is how the video starts, her shoulders moving, little Leah Carroll. Lip syncing to start, she's just 4 years old, born with a rare blood disease, a thumbs up, after overcoming 2 bone marrow transplants. Her mother by her side there, and on the video, mom encouraging her little girl.
Let me hear it. Very happy. You're so amazing right now. You might be down for a moment. Feel like it's hoping that reminds you. Come in.
You're an overcomer, the song goes, and Leah singing nearly every word. After spending more than 400 days away from her family, music has helped Leah get through it. With more than 8 million views, the video catching the attention of the artist who sings that song, Madang. And this week, Madang paying Leah a visit.
I'm with somebody very special right now.
Madang's new friend couldn't wait.
And she is jamming. And there's Mom.
And it turns out Leah had a special gift for her favorite singer.
She had a signed picture from you. You needed a signed picture from her.
I will cherish it forever and ever.
The 2 of them singing together.
Wish I could be part of that world.
Madang then giving a concert at Leah's church, raising thousands to support the bone marrow registry called Be the Match. Leah singing already generating hundreds of new donors. And tonight, the people at Be the Match are grateful to that little fighter using her voice.
A wonderful story indeed. Up next, some sporting action in Trukai Sports. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. A rugby league administrator says violence on the field is now a recurring problem in most suburban competitions here in the nation's capital. It comes after an official was assaulted and injured during a game at the Hola Rugby League competition. Acting President Darren Kai says the sour conduct is affecting the majority of supporters who are there for the love of the game.
The awards
4 weeks ago, the Hohola Rugby League competition came to a standstill after a disgruntled player and supporters assaulted a referee. This has resulted in a broken arm the referee is still nursing after falling off the grandstand. Acting President Darren Kais said such behavior will not be tolerated and the team involved has been banned indefinitely.
Hohola League has been history and been got history about this like in passing blow games stop or second. I'm not going to the finals again.
The competition was already in elimination rounds when this incident occurred. This has affected other teams who were supposed to play the elimination rounds. Unfortunately, this hold-up to the season proper continues this weekend due to campaign rallies held by campaigning candidates. But Kaya is adamant the competition will continue next weekend.
I talk sorry, Lord, not upload innocent clubs where because Lord's like incident, me plan no continue game, me plan holding back awesome. Interest blood, me plan been finishing good. Me talk sorry straight lower our clubs here. But next week, I'm definitely me plan resuming round 14 me plan going to top 8 again.
Despite the buzz around them, some teams were more than willing to play some friendly footy. EMTV Sports arrived in time to see the Garden Hills Eagles and the Bus Stop Spartans face off. The first half saw a dance back and forth as both sides tried their luck at the try lines. Fresh into the match and alert, both sides were not able to score any try. And just before halftime, a high tackle from the Spartans gave a penalty to the Eagles, who took a shot at goal and were successful. Going into second half with 2 points to the name, the Eagles landed another try which was converted successfully and brought the scoreline to 8-0. And afterwards, it was a tussle back and forth until full time. The season proper will continue next week, where knockouts will be made immediately. Dinero Raiko, National, EMTV Sports.
To football, the Port Moresby Soccer Association saw big wins in the women's division. Munkas FC thrashed the hapless Yamaros by 6-0, while University had a 3-0 win over PS.
Members of the PNG men's national football team began assembling in Port Moresby for their training camp ahead of World Cup qualification. Eyes were on the women's division in Port Moresby as it was goals galore on a burning Sunday pitch. University FC, who again featured a number of PNG netball internationals, continued their winning form early in the season, this time with a 3-0 win over a fierce PS side. Better performances this time around by the Uni women, who had an additional player in Jeffet Tulapi, among other netballers in their ranks. In the other women's match, PNG Under-20 Women's World Cup players Lavina Hola, Gloria Leali and Joyce Suga led Munkas FC in a 6-0 humbling of Yamaros. Using the mercy rule in football, the match ended before schedule. Munkas ecstatic with the win. Jeremy Moggy, National TV Sports.
Still in football, a dominating FC Paraka thrashed Admiralty FC 5-0 in the Southern Conference leg of the National Premier League in Port Moresby yesterday. Hekari United also lived up to expectation with another classy performance against Erema FC.
Erema FC found themselves against the competition leaders Hekari United in the main game of the Southern Conference. Having much to prove, Erema knew they had to put their body on the line in the full 90 minutes. However, Hekari United, riding on the back of 2 successful wins, would mount the pressure early on with numerous shots on goal, forcing Erema backline scrambling in defense. The Navy Blues kept their composure in defense, leaving Hekari charges frustrated at times. But with swift passes and quick transition in the middle area, would see the deadlock broken in just a quarter of the match to go before the first interval. However, Erema would pull back the equalizer soon enough, thanks to a penalty inside Hekari's goal mouth. Hekari replied with quick counterattacks from veteran Koryaku Paiga, that eventually forcing penalty inside Erema territory. Striker Tommy Sami stepped up to convert his second minutes to half-time. In the second stanza, Erema surprised Hekari, tying the game at 2-2 and eventually draw the match at the final whistle. In the day's early matches, FC Paraka trounced Admiralty 5-0 and Rapotona edged out Amoana 2-1, while in the northern zone, Leeuwarden FC defeated Markham 2-0 and Nawab outmatched Bololo 2-1. Shane Saroya, National MTV Sports.
PNG men's basketball player Sibona Kala says he is hoping for another shot at representing the country. The star player was at the Rita Flynn complex for a men's netball game when MTV caught up with him.
Kala, who had missed out on a chance to play for PNG during the Pacific Games in 2015, says he is now focusing more on his career domestically and using that platform to make a push for representative duties should the opportunity rise again.
I am right now just trying to focus on my club, Saints, taking part in the PNG Men's Basketball League. Yeah, just trying to keep fit for September. There is this Melanesian Cup coming up. I'm just trying to make sure I'm healthy and then just give it a shot. I tried 2015 and it didn't work out, so I'm trying to get back to my fitness, trying to have another stab at the PNG team. So hopefully it works out.
Playing with the Saints Basketball Club in the Port Moresby Men's Basketball League, Kala believes that the sport will only grow in the country and the talented youth players are now leading the change.
Very athletic players, good height. We've got a couple of boys from, especially the Tamaro's boys, got a lot of young boys that got height, which we usually lack in height as a PNG basketball team, but they're really good big boys coming up, and I'm really excited to see what's in store for the future.
I was at the courts having a short fitness stint with his men's netball team. Men's and mixed netball is a relatively new concept in Papua New Guinea, but Kala believes it has more to offer, with growing popularity over the past few weeks, even drawing comparisons with basketball.
It's fairly new, and I think it's good for fitness. I reckon for men to come out and just play the game. It's fast-paced, very physical as well. There are a couple of physical players out there, and yeah, I think it's good. It's good for the guys to come out and do this.
Both the Port Moresby Men's Basketball League and the men's and mixed netball competitions are growing in popularity in the nation's capital. Jeremy Moggy, National TV Sports.
We go for a break now, but up next, some updates on NRL and Super Rugby. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. To Super Rugby, the Hurricanes have surged past Chiefs to second place in Super Rugby's New Zealand Conference. They're en route to South Africa, but still without concussed captain Dane Coles, who's fast running out of time to be ready for the Lions.
The Hurricanes were understandably pretty relaxed as they reassembled this afternoon, but there was no sign of injured hooker Dane Coles, who at best may return in 3 weeks against the Chiefs. In a much better frame of mind is Vince Ussell, whose hat-trick against the clawless Cheetahs last night took him to 13 tries for the season, surpassing his midfield partner and provider Ngani Laumapi's 11, and edging the Hurricanes' record of 12 held by Tana Umanga.
Juggles it! Vince Ussell going for the corner, that's a beauty!
After last week's game, wasn't sure if I'll get another try, but all credit goes to Ngani with his assists.
With their next opponents, the Bulls and the Force, looking easy prey, the 22-year-old Aucklander could return home as the leading single-season try scorer in Super Rugby history, as he's just 2 behind Rico Gear and Joe Roth.
Yeah, they always give me some yarns and banter about it, but you know, it's all fun and games.
His efforts helping the Canes to win 61-7 last night, becoming the leading point scorers in the competition and also the stingiest defenders. Meanwhile, wet conditions in Perth didn't stop the Highlanders post a half-century on the Western Force.
Straight through goes Patrick Osborne, puts the foot on the gas and away he goes.
He gave every appearance of a side destined for the scrap heap.
And now it is a double for the big man up front.
The Highlanders now have won 8 straight games. Such a comfortable blowout, the perfect platform to ease playmaker Lima Sopawanga back into the fray after missing the past 8 games.
Gets to 5 metres, then he gives it to Hunt, who's over.
Still in rugby, New Zealand's Sevens team are aiming for a title finish in the last leg of the World Series in London.
Shrugging off one of the toughest pools, they dismissed Japan and Canada and went on to dump heavyweights Fiji from the tournament. The men in black taking their first win over their old rivals in almost 4 months.
Jesse Houston! Houston! We do not have a problem! He's come up with a crucial try.
The 27-21 victory has taken them to the quarterfinals against Scotland. That's later tonight.
To the NRL now, Kiwi winger Jordan Rapana has pulled off one of his trademark corner flag flyers to snap the Canberra Raiders' 3-match losing streak. Here are the highlights.
They were locked at 16-all with Parramatta until they moved the ball wide.
Austin, Whiten, here's the man again! Oh! It is Jordan Rapana. His mum wants that known. What a try.
And his Kiwi teammate Dallin Watene-Zelezniak was involved in another stunning Penrith Panthers comeback this afternoon. Their short kicking game destroyed the Knights 30-20 in Newcastle. The result relegating the Warriors to 14th place on the NRL ladder.
And in this afternoon's matches, the Roosters defeated the Bulldogs, and in the match underway, it's the 25-minute mark. The Souths are on 6 points with the Storm as well.
He was smashed. Billy Slater as he went to gather it in. The challenge is fair enough. It saved a try. I think it was Reynolds who threw all of his 87, 88 kilos into the tackle.
Well, he got there first. It was just the bounce of the ball. It bounced up just a little bit too high there for Slater. Otherwise, that would have been a try. A great tackle there to stop it from Adam Reynolds. He got back there. He's only just got up after being injured. He just got checked on the way through there. Slater. Make sure you lock for me, Billy. Lock him up. And cleaned up at the back by South Sydney.
Stop the clock. 2 hands. South Sydney scrum feed. And all very flat from the scrum. With Big Burgess at 5'8". 6-all scoreline. Chambers the first try for Melbourne, converted from the sideline by Smith. And the response from the Rabbitohs was good. John Sutton try, Reynolds goal. And now Crichton with it. Scored his first career try when they played that Golden Point game last year in round 22.
Just watch how Melbourne get all the players from South Sydney on their backs when they get them on the ground.
And that's it for Trukai Sports. Up next, the weather details for the next 24 hours.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
A look at the weather for the next 24 hours in the southern region: Port Moresby, Daru, Kerma, Alota, Popondetta. Fine, becoming cloudy. To the Momasa region, fine, becoming cloudy for Lae, Wau and Madang. Showers for Wewak and Vanimo. To the New Guinea Islands region, showers in Lorengau and Kavieng. Evening showers expected in Kokopo, Rabaul and Buka. Fine, becoming cloudy for Kimbe. And in the Highlands region, thundery showers expected in Mount Hagen. Fine, becoming cloudy for Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabag. A look at the forecast for small ships for tonight and tomorrow. But first, there is a strong wind warning. Southeasterly winds of 25 to 34 knots are expected to continue for the next 24 hours, causing rough seas. All small craft and boats are advised to take necessary precautions before going out to sea. To look at the forecast for small ships, waters of Manus and its western group of islands, and waters of Samurai Island to Cape Vogel to Finchafen, seas 1.5 to 2 meters. Waters of Samurai Island to Cape Vogel to Finchafen, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Waters of Madang, Bogia, Wewak, Aitape, Vanimo to northern PNG Indonesian border, and waters of New Island to east and west New Britain and Bougainville, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. And a look at the ocean forecast for PNG areas. Coral seas rough with southeasterly winds at 25 to 34 knots. Solomon seas light to moderate with southeasterly winds at 10 to 20 knots. Bismarck seas light to moderate with southeasterly winds at 10 to 20 knots. And the Pacific Ocean seas light with north to easterly winds at 10 to 15 knots. And that is the news, sports and weather for today, Sunday, the 21st of May 2017. On behalf of the news team, have a pleasant working week. Good night.